from the audience. And I have not seen yet any hands. Yes, Meng.
Hey, so I have a question for Masaki. It's probably a somewhat technical one.
Yeah.
So the tensor network that you use to calculate, I
Mhm.
think infinite dimensional, right? The bound dimension, I mean.
Bond dimension
You want
is
to like exactly write the partition function?
yeah, well, so first, if you represent the Boltzmann weight of single spin, it's finite. So at that point, it's exact. But as you keep doing this renormalization step, at some point you need to cut off the bond dimension by finite value. So
Okay. So the bound dimension of the initial tensor network is finite.
yeah.
I see. I thought because you have to sum over this n.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
Okay. I see your point. So yeah, we cut off this summation at 15 or something, and that's empirically enough to study this system. Yeah, it's not trivial, but we can cut off the summation at finite value. Yes.
Okay, but no, just from the point of view of tensor network algorithm, like no, the naive version of tensor network normalization, like the one initially in developed by Nave and Levine, it has this kind of issue when it gets to a critical point. Do you see anything similar, or you are using a more advanced version of it?
Yeah, so actually the technical details done by Atsushi, so I'm not very deeply familiar with the detail, but I think he used the several modern improvements like loop, tensor network, realization, and so on. Yeah, but still, if you want to study the fixed point tensor directly, then there will be some error. But our point is that by studying rather the finite size spectrum, we can also suppress the error from finite bond dimension. Yeah. But we did apply modern techniques to reduce.
Okay, of course. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, media technology.
Hey, that's me, Fiona here.
Yes.
The microphone is here.
I have a question for. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question for Sanjay. I was wondering if you can kind of say again. So you talked about there's a case where I have a global symmetry, right, which is a sum of, which can be where the Hamiltonian is a sum of terms, and it's actually. I have something that commutes term by term, and then of course we have integrable systems, and then we have these systems where the dimension of your commutant algebra is exponential in the system size. And I guess can you say more about what is the sharp distinction between saying something is like a symmetry versus just, you do have an algebra of things that commute with the Hamiltonian. So I was a little fuzzy on what the criterion is being used to distinguish this from an ordinary symmetry.
Yeah, so right, of course, if you have just a sum of terms, then you have more symmetry, say translation and other. So what I described is basically you should think of it as a symmetry for a family of Hamiltonians with arbitrary coefficients in front of the terms. About systems.
But what you get out at the end of the day in some of these cases is something with many more blocks than your Hamiltonian than would be anticipated just by looking at the global symmetries. And so I guess the question is, how do I know that there's not just more symmetry than we know about, or something that's responsible for this fragmentation? Like, what's different about it?
Yeah, I think that is exactly what is happening. That if you you can construct these. So when you start with global symmetries, you only look at some, say, on-site symmetries or some of local terms, and the point of fragmentation is that there are these non-local terms which commute with this entire family of Hamiltonians with arbitrary coefficients. Another way to think about this is that what is the basis in which each term of this Hamiltonian is simultaneously block diagonal? This is different from integrability, where you require translation invariance, and I don't know if the commutant can say anything useful about that case.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. The next question will be from Alexander Abanov.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
This is a question for Masaki. Thank you very much. It was very impressive for the result for temperature of the phase transition. I have a question about a little bit aside. So you used tensor network for chain with periodic or twisted boundary conditions and to compute the spectrum and extract information.
Yeah.
Is it useful technique also to study fixed boundary conditions, like Dirichlet boundary conditions, to study something like profile of magnetization at the boundary and stuff?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So in my talk, I presented our study on the bulk, how to determine the bulk transition point and so on. But if you are interested in boundary or surface critical behavior, then I think we can generalize this approach to, open boundary condition, Dirichlet, and so on. We haven't done in our approach, but on the other hand, I think there are several papers by other groups on studying boundary critical phenomena by tensor network, TNR. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question? I see the media technology hands is up, but I believe it's from previous question.
Yeah, sorry, I just forgot to take it down.
Okay. All right, so is there any other question? If not, probably we can take a 15-minute break and come back at 11. Yes.